What's going on, guys? It's Suk and I am back with a brand new video on Super Duper Tech. And in today's video I'll be doing a camera comparison test between the iPhone 8 Plus and the Samsung Galaxy Note 8. Also, if you guys haven't done so already, then go ahead and follow me on Twitter for live updates as I use these products. Also, if you guys are yet to subscribe, then go ahead and click the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified when I upload my next video. But without any further ado, let's hit the titles. So first up, let's get into talking about panoramic photos taken with both the iPhone 8 Plus and the Samsung Galaxy Note 8. Now in general, both of these smartphones do perform fairly similarly. The only differences that you will see is when it comes to the saturation of colors. In fact, images taken with the Note 8 compared to the iPhone 8 Plus do tend to be slightly warmer in color. Now if you compare these next two images, you'll see what I'm talking about. Just look at the floor and the leaves on the trees. Now while images taken with the Note 8 do tend to be slightly more appealing when compared to the realism found in photographs taken with the iPhone 8 Plus. But with that said, I have found that the iPhone 8 Plus has a slight tendency to overexpose at times. And with that being said, I'm not saying that the Note 8 will never overexpose. I'm saying that the iPhone 8 Plus has a slight tendency to overexpose, especially when compared to the Note 8. So now on to taking images using the primary wide angle camera, the secondary telephoto camera, and using the maximum zoom that both of these smartphones possess. And now already you can see that the wide angle camera on the Note 8 is slightly wider when you compare it to the iPhone 8 Plus. And once again, you can see how the colors and the tones on the Note 8 are slightly more warmer when you compare it to those taken with the iPhone 8 Plus. And when you take a look at these images taken at maximum digital zoom, you can really tell the difference between these smartphones. Now with both of these smartphones, you can clearly see the wires hanging off the crane, but when you look at the photo taken with the Note 8, you can see once again how the colors are slightly more warmer. Now there are some times where you will actually prefer a slightly warmer toned image, but there are a lot of times that when you are taking the images with the Note 8, that the sky seems slightly more duller, especially when you compare it side by side to the iPhone 8 Plus. Now if I overlay the exact same image that was taken with the iPhone 8 Plus, you guys can see that the iPhone holds a lot more detail within the trees and the sky has a lot more of a natural color, especially when you compare it to the grayer and darker colors of the Note 8. Now if you guys take a look at this particular set of images, you guys can see how the iPhone 8 Plus does an amazing job at exposing for the sky. And if you take a look at the image taken with the iPhone 8 Plus's telephoto camera, you guys can see that it does have a tendency to sharpen the image quite a bit. But when you compare it to the image taken with the Note 8, you guys can see that the Note 8 has a tendency to slightly whitewash the image. Now if you need any more evidence to show how the Note 8 has a slightly higher tendency to take warmer images, then just take a look at this evidence. Now when it comes to taking these type of images of flowers, you guys can see that the image taken with the iPhone 8 Plus is slightly more saturated and a little more vivid than that taken with the Note 8. And if you take a look at the wall behind these flowers, you guys can see that with the iPhone 8 Plus, you can see the natural creamish color, but with the Note 8, it is slightly more whitewashed and looks a lot more whiter than it does cream. Now if we take a closer look at these two images side by side, you can see that the image taken with the iPhone 8 Plus is slightly more saturated and a little more vivid, though the sky in the top left corner is correctly exposed and you can see the slightly bluish tint to it. Whereas the image that was taken with the Note 8 is slightly more overexposed in the top left for the sky, and the image overall once again looks slightly more whitewashed. So now if we take a closer look at these images, you can see how the iPhone 8 Plus does an amazing job at exposing for the sky along with the object in the scene. And if we directly compare it to the Note 8, you can see how the Note 8 is once again warmer when it comes to color tones. But overall, I myself would prefer the image coming from the iPhone 8 Plus. Now both of these smartphones have a live focus or portrait mode, which essentially allows allows you to blur out the background and keep a subject in focus on the foreground. But with the iPhone 8 Plus, you are able to manipulate the lighting in the particular scene. Whereas a feature which the iPhone 8 Plus does not have is the ability to adjust the amount of blur on the background. Now once again, images taken with the iPhone 8 Plus do have a tendency to look a lot more natural, and even though the background is blurred, you can clearly see how the sky is still correctly exposed. Now either way, with both of these smartphones, taking live focus or portrait images turns out to be very well taken on either of them, but I do find that once again with the Note 8, skin tones do have a tendency to be slightly more warmer, especially when compared to those taken with the iPhone 8 Plus. When it came to taking close-ups using both of these smartphones, I found that the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 had a higher tendency to hold detail on a particular subject, but I also found that the closer that you got to a subject, that its surrounding area would turn out to be quite blurry.
Well, the first week I had one, number 8. So I would have had the last 2 weeks, I had one come out each time. Otherwise, I would have had bloody 3. 4 weeks, I'm easy.
Now of course this test is very subjective and it is open to opinion, but in my opinion I do believe that the iPhone narrowly takes the win. When it comes to zooming in on images, I do believe that the Note 8 is perhaps the more superior smartphone in terms of zoom capabilities. But in general, when it comes down to taking images with the iPhone 8 Plus, I do find that the images do turn out to be well exposed, in focus, true to life, and just as you really would expect. And that's not to say that the Note 8 has a terrible camera. I do think it's got one of the best smartphone cameras out there. And if I'm being honest, a lot of the stuff you won't really notice unless you take images with both of these smartphones and compare them side by side. So then guys, that has been it for today's video. I do hope you did enjoy it. If you did enjoy it, then be sure to hit that like button, and if you are new around here, then why not subscribe and click the bell icon to the side to be notified when I upload my next video. If you have got any questions about what you've seen or heard in this video, then be sure to leave them down below in the comment section, or alternatively you can hit me up on my social media. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.